Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with a review of the Deluxe Super Mega Blaster from Power Rangers Super Megaforce. So, let's go ahead and already get started. I feel like you already know what you need to know just by looking at this right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging just real quick. There's not really anything spectacular I wanted to go over in the packaging. I just really wanted to show that even though this is called the Deluxe Super Mega Blaster, like the sword was that I've already reviewed, this is done in the cheaper, sort of more budget line, sort of like the Power Ranger Blaster from last year. So it's the small, cheaper version. So there's nothing really spectacular about the packaging. You know, it shows how it works. There's where the key goes. It comes with the green key if you couldn't see at the beginning. Picture of Super Megaforce Red swiping it right here, and then on the back it shows how it works again, and then it shows the budget sword, and the collect them all Ranger key thing, and how Ranger keys work, and the app and whatnot. So there's nothing special about it, but I just wanted to note that this is the cheaper budget line. It's called Deluxe, like I said, but it's part of the small version as opposed to the larger sword version, which I already reviewed, and there's also a smaller budget sword which I will not be reviewing. So, other than the gun itself, it does come with a Super Megaforce Green key, which, just like all the other keys, is kind of adorable, baby-like, and just a tiny bit chubby. And as I've said in my previous Super Megaforce reviews, I really dig these keys. Just quickly for a comparison, here it is next to the Gokai Green key, because I feel like I know people would ask for it. And then, to put it into key mode, you just lift his hands up and then press a little bit back here, and it flips up into key mode. And just to show it, here's a comparison to the Gokai key. And then now I'll quickly show the noises in the Legendary Morpher. And I get more comments than I should about these keys, and the Japanese ones are not interchangeable. They're not going to work in the Mobiritz or the Legend. It's not going to fit. Like, this is not going to fit in here. I just dropped it, so I'm not going to show it. But so I'm just going to say that. Alright, so. And then Super Mega Racer. Alright, so neat. But yeah, I got in comments about that. These tiny keys aren't going to do anything in the Mobiritz, and the Mobiritz keys won't even fit in here. So, I don't know why people keep asking about that. So anyway, we're now on to the main event. Here is the blaster. Honestly, it is pretty pitiful, I have to say. I'm usually pretty fair to Bandai America toys. A lot of people bash some things unnecessarily and get really mad about it, but this, honestly, is probably one of the worst things in the line. I mean, obviously this is a smaller budget line, this is going to be smaller, it's a very small size, which in the sense understandable because it's advertised as that line. It's not, the deluxe size of the sword, but it's pretty inaccurate and pretty crappy. I mean, here we have the little orange safety thing, which is unavoidable because of the safety standards here. Granted, I don't like it. I think it's annoying. It ruins a lot of really cool, roleplay weapons. But they really can't do anything about that, so there's no need to get upset at them about that. But in general, other than this ugly orange thing, it's pretty inaccurate. I mean, the red, it's supposed to be red, and they got the blue and silver here, even though it's a little off-colored. But it's supposed to be black all throughout here. This thing doesn't even pop up in the Gokai Gun. You press the button here and this will pop up to put the key in. It's just overall pretty crappy looking, as you can tell. Sound wise, it's only got a few little sounds, nothing special. It cycles through a couple different sounds when you press the button here in this mode. You get that? And that's pretty much it. I also want to point out how weird the trigger is. It's like a really weird trigger. Like, it's hard to describe. It's kind of like on this weird angle and it presses in strange. I don't know. It's just one of the weirdest triggers I've ever felt on one of these. So, but it does have functionality with the key, which is surprising in a way. I mean, I know it comes with it, but I'm surprised it actually has activation noises. So, you just plug the key in here and it will make a sort of activation noise. And then when you press the button, it'll do sort of, I guess, its final attack noise. Which honestly sounds like really cheap space effects from like an 80s show where it's like a ship is taking off. And then it'll just repeat that sound if you press again. Sounds like really cheap sci-fi effects. And then it does make a noise when you pull the key out. But yeah, pretty pitiful, to be honest. You just, for comparison, it's kind of unfair because they're different classes, but, you know, here is the Gokai Gun. This is the one of mine that's not broken. Obviously, huge difference, but you can see, like, the way the color's supposed to be. And this thing obviously has a ton more functionality. You know, you got a regular trigger. You press this, and this pops up for the key. The key will make activation noises. You got final wave and all that. So, yeah, honestly, this thing's, like I said, it's not very good. I really can't recommend it unless you really want one for your collection right now, and you have to have some sort of representation of their blaster at the moment. I'm not sure what they're going to do, whether they maybe will come out with one of the same class as the sword later maybe, or just something different. Personally, if I had to make a recommendation to you, it would be wait to see if they do that, or just go ahead and buy yourself a Gokai Gun, because there's going to be a million people complaining about it, and that time could just be used buying yourself a Gokai Gun. So yeah, either do that or wait. Honestly, this thing isn't worth it. I have just nothing really. I only really got it because it had the key with it and I wanted to bring you the review. But yeah, there's nothing really about it. I mean, I guess if there's anything positive to say about it is it has a key, and I'm surprised that they actually gave distinct key sounds for activation. They could have easily just, you know, still had functionality with the key but no, like, sound functionality, so at least there's that. But other than that, honestly, it's a very easy pass. So that's about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at RidersRangersandRambles.com. Until next time, it's Dawson Rider, signing out.